Hey everyone, Token Dave over here, the talking black guy that's just trying to get by. And welcome to another edition of Token 10, my top 10 list of a particular subject matter. And this Token 10 is in conjunction with and brought to you by Street Fighter Flashback. In celebration of 30 years of Street Fighter, I'm taking it upon myself to share my memories of playing the games at the arcades or at home at that period of time and review and share my thoughts on other Street Fighter related media. And today is part 2 of my top 10 Street Fighter characters list. Now, for those that didn't see the first video, basically I am giving my favorite characters in the franchise that are not Shotos and have not appeared in another game. Alright? So, with all that out the way, let's kick it off with number 5, Yang from Street Fighter 3. When Street Fighter 3 was announced, basically, a lot of people were expecting to have a lot of Street Fighter 2 characters. Particularly one character, Fei Long. Fei Long's introduction in Super Street Fighter 2 was awesome, but everyone felt that basically he was very limited. And so he was initially planned to come back in Street Fighter 3. However, Capcom decided, you know what? Instead, we'll just bring back younger Kung Fu stylists. And sure enough, they made them related to Lee from the original Street Fighter. And everyone basically gravitated towards Yun. The one that wore the cap that was a skateboarder. But me personally, I preferred Yang more. I'm all for somebody that basically, is reckless, goes into danger and everything. But somebody that basically is more level-headed, looks at the situation as a whole, those type of people are greatly needed. And Yang gives Yun that great balance. In addition, Yun is a very direct, and Yun is actually, to be honest, I would have figured Yun to be more of a karate stylist. Yang, on the other hand, for me, he's a better representation of Kung Fu. His movements are powerful, surely, but there's more of a flowing grace to them. The way he pulls off his punches, his wave-like hand movements, his basically death strike, and the way he pulls off his kicks, it exemplifies the beauty of Kung Fu and all. And I really feel that Young, is so much into the shadow of Yun, unnecessarily so. Yang is a great character, and he needs more props, and he is actually my favorite of the Lee brothers, of the Lee twins. Alright? So, number 4, Dudley from Street Fighter 3. I spoke about Mike from the first game, and Mike is very, he's very kind of cookie cutterish to a degree, and that I really feel that basically his personality was brought more into life when Street Fighter 2 came out and the boxer Mike Bison was there. And I don't care what Capcom is saying now. I know they're retconning it right now, stating that Mike and M. Bison are two different characters. I'm sorry. I still to this day believe and still feel they're the same character. And both of them, though, however, as boxers, meh. But then we get to Dudley. And Dudley has something unique about him. Dudley is he can be a Street Fighter, but he's more than just a Street Fighter. He is basically a nobleman. He's born into a life of privilege, but he has a lot of dignity and class. Something that M. Bison did not have. M. Bison, while I appreciate scrappy fighters, Dudley shows that you can scrap, but you don't have to be an imbecile. You don't have to be a bull in a china shop. You can display, some technique. You can display, some tactical fighting styles. You don't have to just go straight in. And Dudley himself is very much an outside boxer, And, pulling off his punching combinations actually gave me more joy in playing the character. While M. Bison, most of his moves were pretty straightforward and pretty powerful, Dudley's speed and grace were very balanced, and he is basically the noble knight to how Dew is the Ronin samurai. Somebody that believes in the etiquette and the perseverance of his nation, but as a representative knows how serious, being a fighter is and to fight for your country more so. So I really feel that Dudley, embraces the spirit of boxing as well as physicality, as well as the importance of etiquette. Number 3, Sagat from the original game. Sagat, everyone talked about Sagat and how difficult he was. The original Street Fighter game, the controller enough was hard to pull off. Getting up to Edon was a chore in itself. But getting up to Sagat, that took some talent. And when you got to Sagat, he was such a pain, from what everyone tells me. I never beat him in the arcade, I only beat him in the home. But when he came out in Street Fighter 2, I actually hugely gravitated towards him, not only because of his scar, but he had a fighting style that, while similar to Dew's, right, was very different. Yes, he was a multi-stylist, but he was able to throw the fireballs, aka the tigers. And he did it in a certain way. He did them high and he did them low. He also had, the tiger uppercut, which I actually personally hated that phrase. I'm glad that in Street Fighter Zero, it's called a tiger blow, and I love the fact that basically, in Super Street Fighter 2, right, they actually gave him a tiger knee, because he did have a knee move in the original game from what I saw. So, I thought that was great. And Sagat is a very powerful character, and is somebody that, is not two-dimensional. He is not an antagonist, nor is he a protagonist. He is an honorable fighter. He believes in being strong and being powerful, and having good sportsmanship. He has little time for people that are weaker than him, and he always accepts basically somebody that is able to fight him and basically at least display some true strength, right? In Street Fighter 4, you see that he belittles some people that he classes as inferior and everything, but at the same time, he will show respect to those that at least put up somewhat of a fight, or at least have some genuine spirit to them. Number 2, Alex from Street Fighter 3. Wow, a grappler getting this high up in my favorite list. But the thing is, Alex is more than a grappler. Alex is a powerhouse from New York, so that's brownie points right there. But, he has a sense of morals to him. He has a sense of honor. Something that, if you notice, a lot of my top characters have, they have this honorable sense. And Alex comes off as somebody that's rugged and from the streets, but by the same token, he does not just throw a punch or slam you around. He does measure the distance. He does recognize if someone else is faster than him and everything. He is able to calculate this so fast, but he's able to use that to his ability as well too. And with him being the lead protagonist of the Street Fighter 3 series, it was a refreshing surprise that we don't have the traditional martial artist in the forefront. We have somebody that actually has fought on the streets, grown up on the streets, and is from the streets themselves. Not in some rural country and everything, not for some lap of privilege and all. Somebody that was brought up on the streets and basically is able to take part and is able to be an effective fighter and all. Alex also has this short temper, but his short temper is not just lashing out at people. He blows his lid at appropriate times and everything, giving him a lot more depth, and you can tell that he is learning to mature, which is something you see in his transition from Street Fighter 3 Second Impact to Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, where at Third Strike you see him analyzing his fights more. Something that you would not have expected, with him smack talking all the time. So Alex is a decently complicated character and everything, and shows that, basically you can't judge a book by its cover. Before I get to number 1, I'm going to name some honorable mentions. Skullomania from Street Fighter EX. Dude is a freaking superhero and a wrestler in a skull uniform. That is just awesome right there. Alright? C-Jack, also from Street Fighter EX. C-Jack basically exemplifies a Street Fighter, a brawler, somebody that will use his fist, mostly, but his feet at appropriate times, and is willing and is ready to basically pull out a bat and beat you with that. Awesome. Urin from Street Fighter 3. I used to pronounce his name Urine, alright? So, I'm hoping, please tell me it's not just me. But anyway, Urin is actually, to be honest, I feel that he is the best antagonist in the whole franchise, and I don't have much time to go into detail, but him being trained to be a god only to have it taken away from him just because he's somewhat emotional and everything displays how he could be very dangerous. Q, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. The biggest mystery of all time in fighting games. We don't know who he is, we don't know if he's human or not, we just know he comes up in random places. Shoot. Ibuki, Street Fighter 3. Ibuki is like the ninja girl and everything, the ninja teenager that just wants to be a carefree teenager and doesn't want her youth to go to waste to doing ninja assignments all the time and everything. And basically, she doesn't look like a practical ninja. She's very Gen X, which is awesome. Judy, Street Fighter 4. My second favorite antagonist, Yuri, is very dangerous and venomous and is actually an interesting display of Taekwondo and everything. Best character by far from Street Fighter 4. Alright? So, number 1, Chun-Li, Street Fighter 2. The first lady of all fighting games, Chun-Li is a force of nature and everything. Her lightning kicks, her spinning bird kicks, her beauty and everything. All that is there. Plus, she is a stern detective and everything, overworked probably, and is quick to dispatch justice, But behind all that training and everything and that hard nature, she has a very soft, playful side that she rarely gets to display. And you can see that, when she has a chance to, she levels in it. But she's also knows her responsibilities very well. Thus, you see how she transitioned from being a stern cop in the Street Fighter 2 and, in Street Fighter 0, Street Fighter 2, but then in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, she is actually basically a retired person that is caring for children. Basically, further displaying that gentler side that she has to her and all. So Chun-Li is considered the strongest woman in the world and the queen of all fighting games, and I can see why. Beauty, power, but grace. And that's Chun-Li. And basically, top it off, one thing I do love in any animation, when Chun-Li is there, she kicks ass and she looks really good doing it. So, those are my token 10s. My favorite 10 Street Fighter characters in both videos. Agree? Disagree? Drop me a comment below. Give me a like. Follow me on Facebook at Token Dave. Twitter, TokenDave80. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this has been Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll catch you guys later.